This is like some Final Destination Oh my God. This is nuts. I hope I see the story in episode 50. You will, because god damn it, that is insane. Stop screwing with witches. Oh my dear Lord. 50 episodes. 50. 50. 25 plus 25. 33 plus... $16? Some amount of numbers. There is the answer that I came up with myself with my adult brain. I think that you don't understand what I mean when I say that it is absolutely nuts that you guys watch these videos all the way through and enjoy them. Like, do you know how everybody talks about the way that all these generations coming up are like desensitized to horrific things? This is it. This is the example that everyone's been waiting for. Over the past 50 episodes, we have seen teachers on drugs naked on a school camping trip. We have seen demonic possessions happen within the classroom. We have seen teachers try to kidnap students to be used for ritual sacrifice. All of that happens, and you all get on your laptops or your TVs or your phones on Friday and you refresh the page until the next episode of Classroom Horror Stories drops. Do you see the issue there? Do you see the disconnect there? Do you see how that's kind of crazy? Listen. I'm not one to yuck your yum, but I'm just letting you know this is crazy. 50 episodes. But I've said it before and I'll say it again. You watch, you like, you share, and you ask for more, so who am I to not provide you your weekly dose of trauma? Oh, sweet Christ. Hello everyone, my name's Tyler Jakowski. Welcome to episode 50 of Classroom Horror Stories. I'm just starting to wonder how far we are from like TLC picking this up and turning it into some type of like My 10,000 Pound Life or My Strange Addiction style show. That would be cool. I would enjoy that. But the fact that I even have to consider that as a possibility is menacing. But you know what? You guys don't listen to me. You don't listen to reason. You don't listen to me explaining to you that these stories are horrific. And I know that it seems cliche, but each episode really is worse than the one before it. A lot of you have watched all 50 episodes, and you agree that each episode is getting worse and worse. And if this one is as physically and mentally sickening as episode 49, then we're on the right direction. All right, before we jump into these, a couple quick reminders. If you have a story that you want read on Classroom Horror Stories episode 51, you need to put it in the comments of the YouTube video. If you're watching on Spotify, hello. Hi, Spotify. We're almost monetized on Spotify. All we need is 10,000 hours of watching. So if you could watch this again on Spotify, that'd be great. But if you want your story read on Classroom Horror Stories, they need to go in the comments of the YouTube video. Don't email it to me. Again,
I don't check the email.
I check the comments. Second, if you haven't tuned into the No One Asked for This podcast, it's my podcast. It's every single Monday at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you like this, you'll probably like that. The podcast is a little bit more like emotionally driven, like feel good, make you feel good about yourself. But again, if you like this, you'll love that. Last but not least, I need you to do something for me. Real quick, I need you to like the video. I need you to turn on notifications. I know, super generic, but it actually does help the video get out to more people. Once you do those two things, just comment done and I'll know that you're a badass. All right, enough stalling. Let's get into episode 50 of Classroom Horror Stories. Okay. Deep breaths, everybody. We're getting started. Dear Mr. J, I want to start by saying thank you for this series. It's very therapeutic to me. Do we know what therapeutic means? Do we know what that means? I need like a heart rate calculator during these episodes. This is not therapeutic. Stop telling me in the comments that it's therapeutic. This is insane. It's nice to start the week with your podcast and end the week with your Classroom Horror Stories. That's a real one. Who's writing this? Denise. Denise, that's a real one right there. My name is Denise and I was a teacher for 10 years in Southern California. I taught chemistry and therefore we had a lot of experiments that we did in the chemistry laboratory at our school. I had a really great time teaching up until last year when we had an event that made me have to quit. Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay. Basically, we're in the lab and students were working with flammable liquids. you're in the wrong. You're incorrect for allowing this to happen. I have so much trouble believing that your curriculum says give the kids flammable liquids. Unless it does. I've never taught chemistry. I like chemistry, never taught it. I'm not that kind of brain. You don't want me teaching chemistry. Specifically, students were using acetone liquid to do a chemical reaction with solids to see if they can get them to dissolve. I would enjoy this. Should I do an episode of a different series where I do like little lab tests? That'd be fun. I see if I can be a laboratory person for a day. Okay, unfortunately, like many classrooms, my class had one group of boys who were complete morons. I fear that I was part of that group in high school. I am so sorry. The students decided that they wanted to try to be fire breathers with acetone? Stop, don't do that. Don't do that, ever. That's a big old no-no. The students decided to drink the acetone and use the Bunsen burner to try to blow flames out of their mouths. Listen, I think that when it comes to just society in general and people learning a lesson, I think Darwin was really onto something. It really is survival of the fittest sometimes. And I think it's kind of important that we weed out the herd. We need to start letting people do stuff sometimes. If somebody hears that we're working with acetone and their first thought is I'm gonna become a fire-breathing dragon, it's survival of the fittest. It's either now or later. They were either going to try drinking this at home when they're 40 or they're gonna do it now. I think we need to have a loving sense of Jesus take the wheel. You know? Needless to say, it went horribly wrong. I was on one side of the room and one of the boys put the acetone in their mouth, held up the Bunsen burner and blew it out of his mouth. Oh Christ. Okay. Unfortunately, he spit it directly in the face of his friend who was across the table from him. Unfortunately for the students, acetone is an incredibly flammable liquid and it also takes a very long time to burn out. Hopefully you already took your school pictures for the year. That was a bad joke. The friend that got the fire spit at him was set on fire and he ran around the classroom screaming. He didn't realize that if you shake the acetone around, it's going to drip to other parts of your body. He became completely encased in fire while running around the classroom. His burns got so severe that he ended up passing out and falling onto the ground. This is like some Final Destination. This is nuts. Don't you guys have one of those like showers that you just right? Like you're supposed, that's what that's for, right? Was this before then? You taught for 10 years in Southern California. I don't know when this was, but it wasn't before the whole situation. You gotta have one of those little things there. I'm not gonna do it again. The student who spit the acetone out of his mouth accidentally ended up swallowing a lot of it. Minutes after, he started foaming at the mouth and dropped to the ground as well. Oh, I'm with you. I'm quitting. If I'm in the hallway walking past and I see a rabid dog looking child and one kid on fire, I'm quitting. It doesn't even have to be my class. It doesn't have to be my class. Not my circus, not my monkeys. I'm quitting the circus. Can't make me stay. Both students were rushed to the emergency room, but neither died. Wow, you wrote that very nonchalant. You wrote that in a way that was like, if they die, they die. It is what it is. Unfortunately, one student was covered in burns on 90% of his body. Can I ask a quick question? While this kid was on fire, was the whole rest of the class just sitting around like, was no one doing anything? No one thought to get like a cup of water? You're in a chemistry lab. Don't you have sinks? I fear that everyone was like, we've been waiting for this to happen. Go ahead. Burn to death. Because for this to go from his face to 90% of his body, you all weren't watching some sort of tragedy in a chemistry lab. You guys were sitting around a campfire. The other student had permanent internal damage from drinking the acetone, and he was very lucky to be alive. Immediately after this event, I realized I was not fit for teaching because the entire time I was saying something to the tune of, if you're dumb enough to do this, you deserve the consequences. The problem is I agree, but you can't say that aside from me having said it right now. You can't say it in the moment while this kid is just engulfed in flames, and the other kid looks like a rabid animal. You're a real one for that. I'm not sure if that makes me a bad person, but regardless, I hope I see the story in episode 50. You will, because god damn it, that is insane. Yeah, no, I'm a firm believer that some things are like kind of destined to happen because people don't have the common sense to like avoid obviously dangerous situations. And I also do believe that like life in the end is a lesson and you learn as you live. This kid learned probably lessons 1 through 12. I bet he won't drink acetone again. Huge plus. Thank you for writing in, Denise. You're a real one. I hope you enjoy whatever other job you're doing now. All right, here we go again. Dear Timu Brand Jim Carrey. My name is Nicholas and I have a story from when I was in middle school. So I'm from London and our class in year 7 took a field trip to an amusement park. Sick. Love that. The park was called Thorpe's Park and the entire class was so excited. Our teacher at the time, named Mr. Banlin, was not excited at all because he has an incredible fear of roller coasters. Isn't there like some level to which an adult can be like, hey, this is my worst nightmare. Can I like tap out of this one? Why does he have to go to the amusement park? When we got to the park, there was one ride that everyone was talking about going on that was called the Slingshot. I fear that I know exactly what you're talking about. Because being an odd number of kids in the class, one student had to go on the ride with the teacher. Again, why is he required to go on the rides and experience the day as if he were a student? This feels poorly managed. I felt bad for Mr. Banlin, so I agreed to be the person who went on with him. You hate to see a pity ride partner. That would be bad. We got on the ride and Mr. Banlin was very visibly shaking. I thought it was hilarious because I was a kid and didn't realize that these rides are actually pretty horrifying. Yeah, dude, you're trusting some like 13-year-old ride operator to send you 100 feet in the air. That's like what becoming an adult is realizing that like that's a bad situation to put yourself in. And we pay money to put ourselves in those situations. Right before the ride was ready to go, the operator came up to Mr. Banlin's seat and explained to him that his shoulder strap was not connected properly and that we're very lucky he caught it. Apparently it was a joke, and right after he said that, the ride launched us 200 feet in the air. My soul would have left my goddamn body. This would not have been good. If you could have heard the scream that came out of Mr. Banlin, you would have thought I was sitting next to a 5-year-old girl. Same. Mine probably would have been louder. Apparently, the trick that the operator pulled worked. When the ride started to slow down, we were basically just hanging in the air and Mr. Banlin was still shaking. But we noticed a very weird smell. No. Mr. Banlin, please don't tell me you pants. I'm begging you. Don't tell me you shit your pants. I looked over to Mr. Banlin and his eyes were wide open, staring straight ahead of him. Oh no, Mr. Banlin. Turns out Mr. Banlin had pooped his pants on the ride. Oh God, that is so rough. The ride took 2.5 minutes to get back down to the ground, during which Mr. Banlin and I sat in perfect silence. I would decay. I would cease to exist. Either person, the kid or the poop pants, I would disintegrate. No, I would not be there. I would dissociate. Students below who were in line could see poop leaking out of his pant leg and dripping down on them. Oh my God. Oh, sweet baby Jesus. I don't know how he did it, but Mr. Banlin dealt with the situation and people only bring it up once or twice a day now. He didn't handle it. He didn't handle it at all. If I had to hear this 2 times a day, I'd have a different job. I wouldn't do it. I'd be like, this is not a passion anymore. We're done here. I'm gonna go poop my pants at a different job. I hope you keep protecting the trees with your lightsaber-sized nose. That was mean. Thank you for writing in. Yeah, no, Mr. Banlin, I cannot believe you stuck with it. I'm actually proud of you for sticking with it because that's bad. That's bad in every language. Oh my dear Lord. All right, next one. All right, let's get right to it. Hello, you fuzzy orange tree dwelling protector. How does it always hurt my feelings? My name is Angie and I live in Las Vegas. I want to tell you a story about a substitute that I had when I was in high school. This substitute's name was Miss Rosie, and immediately upon entering the classroom, she explained to our group of 9th graders that she is a witch and that you shouldn't mess with her. My fiance's a witch. I don't mess with her either. She kind of scares me a little bit. Naturally, as high schoolers do, the entire class immediately began screwing with Miss Rosie after she said that. She was only substituting for 3 days, but in that time, students moved her belongings around the room, printed out pictures of her in high school, put them all over the classroom, and would walk up behind her during class and scream to scare her. If I ever walked into my classroom and saw pictures of me from high school plastered on the wall, we would be having recess in a boxing ring. That can't happen. That is dastardly. I could not let that take place. No, those are fighting actions. Unfortunately, I know myself, and if I ever saw somebody just walk up behind a teacher and just scare the crap out of them, I know that I would be on the ground laughing. I find scaring videos on my For You page to be some of the funniest content ever. I love seeing videos of people getting scared. Okay, unfortunately, the students had no idea what was coming to them. On her last day in the classroom, in the last 10 minutes of the school day, Miss Rosie explained to the students that she was not joking when she said that she was a witch. She pointed out one by one all the students that she'd be putting hexes on that night. There were 4 students specifically who she labeled as the ones who'd be getting it the worst because of what they did to her while she was there. You done goofed. You got the Hex girls after you now. If you understand that reference, you are a real one. We laughed it off and didn't really think about it at all. The Friday at the end of that week, there was a news story that came out. There was a freak accident that happened at a playground by the school. While some of the students were lying under a tree branch fell and landed across all of their legs. The branch was heavy enough to break all of their legs above the kneecap. Each of the 4 students suffered such severe injuries from the tree falling that they had to have their legs amputated above the knee. Oh my God. The 4 students that were involved were precisely the 4 that the witch substitute pointed out. Stop screwing with witches. Please stop screwing with witches. Oh my God. I'm not saying I totally believe that she was a witch, but that would be a pretty crazy coincidence. I totally believe that she's a witch. Miss Rosie, we're cool, right? We're good. Everything's fine. I'm with you. I'm with you. Go witch. Go witches. Go bad witch. Go bad witch. Go. Don't worry about me. Don't hex me. I am talking out of my ass. I hope you have a great day and don't go sitting under any trees today, even though you protect them. You just had to make it worse. That is terrifying. If I was one of the other students in the class, especially one who did like a sort of bad thing to Miss Rosie but didn't get the hex, I would live in fear until the day that I die. Here's a PSA for you. Stop screwing with witches because clearly they're powerful. Oh my God. Listen, you could be anywhere but you're here and that's pretty friggin' cool. I appreciate you for being here. I don't know why you like this, but we are at the half 100 point of Classroom Horror Stories. We've made a lot of bets in this series, and a lot of the times you want me to dress up, right? You want me to dress up as something that you think is funny. And we make some pretty steep bets, 50, 25, 30,000 views and whatever, and everybody always does their best to make that happen. For episode 50, I have a little surprise for you. Hang tight. There you have it, the Lorax Alexander Hamilton. Do you feel better about yourself now? Now that you've seen this? Do you feel good? I need every single one of you to go in the comments right now and say thank you because this is your Christmas present and your birthday present. Don't ever say that I did nothing for you and that I do not love you all. Okay, have a blessed week. I'll see you for episode 51.